Hello students, in your third semester we have Object Oriented Programming Language OOP. In previous semester we learned about Procedure Oriented Programming Language, that is C. Okay. So what is Procedure Oriented Programming Language? Procedure oriented programming language means the entire program is divided into number of subprograms what are called as procedures or functions. In C, we discussed and we practiced about the functions concept. In that functions concept, we have main method and a few more sub-functions, that is function 1, function 2, function 3. According to fourth category of functions, main function can send arguments to the function 1 and also function 2, function 3. Okay, so from the main function we can send variables, that means arguments, to the function 1, function 2, function 3 freely. And again functions also communicate with each other. Function 1 can send arguments to the function 2 and function 2 can send arguments to the function 3. Okay, so main function is a calling function and function 1, function 2, function 3 are called function. In some situations, function 1 may call function 2, function 2 may call function 3. Okay, so data can be easily moved around the functions in procedure oriented programming language. Okay, it is also called as function oriented programming language. In this, we concentrate on logic rather than data. We concentrate on logic rather than data. How the logic of the program and how we make easy of the program in procedure oriented programming language. So logic is main and data is secondary. What will happen? Data can be moved freely around the functions. So data may be misused in this type of procedure oriented programming language. Okay, so in object oriented programming language we concentrate on data rather than logic. In this object oriented programming language, the entire program is divided into number of entities what are called as objects. I will explain you POP and OOP with a small example. Here there is a water tank. And this is room 1 and this is room 2 and this is room 3. We have to provide a water facility to room 1, room 2 and room 3. So simply we fix a points to room 1, to room 2 and to room 3. Here the persons who stayed at room 1 and room 2, room 3 can easily utilize the water from water tank. Okay, actually this water is very valuable, mineral water, very valuable water it is. So this water can be freely used at room 1, room 2, room 3 persons. Exclusively this water tank was established for drinking. So it is drinking water only. Here the persons who stayed at room 1, room 2, room 3 may use excluding for drinking. That is, they may use it for washing and they may use it for other things. Okay, what is the purpose of water in this water tank? Exclusively, it is a mineral water and it is used for only drinking. But the persons who stayed at room 1, room 2, room 3 are used rather than drinking. So it means wastage of water is going on. Okay, so why it was happened? Because from water tank to rooms we set points freely. So no need to worry about water at their points. So water can be freely utilized at various rooms. That's why the person who stayed at rooms, they can easily be used not only for drinking, but also for washing. So it is misusage. Then what is the remedy and how can we overcome the wastage of water? Simply we lock the water tank. We lock the water tank. So what will happen? No even a drop of water is distributed to three rooms. So is it a right choice? Okay, this is case 2. In case 1, water can be freely utilized for these 3 rooms. And case 2, to avoid wastage of water, just we lock the points, these 3 points. What will happen? Water is stored in water tank and it cannot be utilized for any persons or any rooms. So these are all points are closed. Is it a right thing in case 2? No. Water should be utilized. If it was stored in water tank, what is the use of water? So water should be distributed, it should be utilized. Okay, in case 3, we set the tap points here. Okay, here I set a message, drinking water. Drinking water. Drinking water. So in case 3, I close these 3 points and assign a new point, only one, and a board is fixed here, drinking water. Here there is a person who watches, watchman. Okay, there is a person like a watchman is assigned here, whether that water is used for drinking purpose or not. Okay, any persons at room 1 and room 3, room 2, just they visit this drinking water point and they utilize this water for drinking purpose only. If they want to utilize this water other than drinking, this person will warn them, not at all, it is used for washing or other purposes, it is exclusively used for drinking only. So he watches this point, is there any person utilizes this water rather than drinking? Okay, I think my dear students, you are understand about this concept. In procedure oriented programming, here water means data. Water means data. And room 1, room 2, room 3 are functions, sub-functions or procedures, whatever it may be. Data can be utilized freely, these 3 functions. What will happen? That functions may misuse the data which is sent from water tank, that is main function. Here main function, water tank is main function and water is data. Okay, so main function easily give data or pass the data for these 3 functions. So what will happen? That data may be misused by function 1 or function 2 or function 3. Okay, I again tell you, in procedure oriented programming, we concentrate on only logic rather than data. We concentrated on only logic rather than data. In case 3, just observe, here I close entire points for room 1, room 2, room 3. So data cannot be given directly to these 3 functions. It is hidden, this point. This is OOP. Data can be used for drinking purpose only. There is a person who may be a watchman, whether the data is used for drinking purpose or not. Here data can be used for function 1, function 2, function 3 for particular purpose only. So it is fixed and it is assigned, it is insulated. Insulated means wrapped out. Okay, it is arranged for particular purpose only. So data may not be, or data cannot be misused for these 3 functions. Okay, this is OOP concept. Okay, so data is not at all directly given to the function 1, function 2, function 3. Just they utilize this data for particular purpose only. So data is insulated by a person. That person is called as class. That person is called as class. Okay. This data is existed and arranged in a class. This class will provide to function 1, function 2, function 3. So here in object oriented programming language, we concentrate on data rather than logic. Okay. There are 2 more concepts in C we have to review before practicing OOP. The first one is functions concept. The second one is structures. These both are very, very important concepts and which are again coming to OOP, that means Java. So here I will explain you main function, int a comma b, add of a comma b, add int a comma int b, int c, c equal to b, printf percentage d c. I think you are familiar with the functions concept. What type of function it is? It is second category of functions. Main function is called as calling function. And what about add function? Absolutely right. Called function. So here main function and add function, it is user defined function. It was defined outside the main function. Okay, here I assigned a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. This is what we call as initialization. What do you mean by initialization? Assigning values directly to variables are called as initialization. Here a is assigned to 10 and b is assigned to 20. I send these a and b values into add function. Here a, b are called as actual arguments. And again The value of A is assigned to this A and B is assigned to this B. Here A, B are called as formal arguments. Variables which are in main function are called as actual arguments. Variables which are in formal argument add function are called as formal arguments. So here A is 10 and B is 20. C equal to A plus B and value of C is displayed in this function. Okay, this is the second category of function. Functions with arguments and without returns. Okay, so data is freely moved from main function to add function. Okay, so the same example we will write in fourth category of function. What is meant by fourth category of function? Functions with arguments and with returns. Here, this is the fourth category of functions. Functions with arguments and with returns. The first one is function prototype. This prototype will give you information about the function name and arguments type and return type. Here, main function has three variables. A, B, C are local variables to main function. A is assigned to A 10, B is assigned to 20. This is initialization concept. C is equal to add of 10 comma 20. Here we called a user defined function add and passed the arguments 10 and 20 into add function. The result will be again returned to variable C. Here the value will be printed in the same main function. Coming to user defined function, here this is return type integer add int A comma int B. So in previous program, we discussed about formal arguments and actual arguments. Here, A comma B are actual arguments and A comma B are formal arguments. In this, what type of variable is C? This is integer. That's why return type is also should be an integer. How many arguments are sending from add function? 2. And how many arguments are receiving in user defined function? 2. What type of variables are 10 and 20? Integers. This A and B are also should be integers. These are all the rules which we followed in C programming at functions concept. Here we return C to main function. Okay, so data is freely moved around the functions. Here we concentrated on logic rather than data. This is fourth category of functions. Function prototype. This is a calling function. And this is called function. Okay, this is fourth category of functions. I think everybody are familiar with this fourth category of functions. Let us move to the structures concept. structures are user defined data types. How can we define structures and how can we use structures in C programming? Let us discuss with an example. Here, struct student. These are data items, int, STU number, char, sname, this is a string or character type array, float, fees. Every variable should have a memory. Student number allocates 2 bytes of memory because of integer. And student name of 20 characters, each character occupies 1 byte, that is 20 bytes. Fees is a float type, it is 4 bytes. Here you should remember one thing, when you define structure, it will not be memory allocated. When you define a structure variable, then only a memory will be allocated for structure variable. Okay, where we define or declare structure variable? In main function. Okay, struct student stu1. stu1. What is stu1? stu1 is a variable of a struct student type. It is user defined data type. Student number is an integer, student name is a character, fees is a float. Here stu1 is also like these variables. These are predefined variables. This is user defined variable. That means these are all primitive data types, predefined data types, and this is user defined data type. Here stu1 is also a variable. So stu1 should also occupy some space of memory. How much? Just you calculate these data items are total memory. One is 2 bytes, 20 bytes, 4 bytes. How much? 26 bytes. So totally each structure variable for student occupies 26 bytes of memory. Now scanf %d ampersand. Here what is the variable? stu1 dot data item, stu number, and again scanf %s stu1 dot s name, scanf %f fees. In this way we input values into the data items for stu1 variables. Here stu1 dot stu number dot is a special operator which we discussed in operators concept, and stu1 dot sname, that means student number of stu1, student name of stu1, fees of stu1. And again the same statements were used for printf also. Printf %d ampersand student1 dot student number, printf %d stu1 dot stu number. Okay, this is a small example for structures. The same concept is used in object oriented programming also. In procedure oriented programming we call this concept as structures. In coming to object oriented programming, this is called as class. What about difference in between structures and class? Just coming to structures, data is open to all functions. Data is open to all functions. In previous concept I explained about POP. In procedure oriented programming, data can be moved freely around the functions, no restrictions or no rules. Like this, structure data items can be used for any function. There is no restrictions or there is no rules. So structure variables, structure data items can be used in any functions. But coming to class, variables are restricted. not any function can use directly a particular data. So that is called as a data hiding. Data hiding. Data cannot be visible directly to the outside world. But then what, how data can be utilized? Which purpose we defined data for particular functions. So that function can only acquire the data. That is the concept of class. I will explain you. When anybody asks what is POP, procedure-oriented programming, in POP the entire program is divided into a number of sub-programs called as procedures or functions. Coming to object-oriented programming, what is OOP? What is an object? The entire program is divided into number of entities called as objects. Called as objects. Here, this is class like structure in C. This is data like A, B, C variables. And which functions utilizes the particular data, that functions also be defined in class. Function 1, function 2. Function 1 and function 2. Data and functions are insulated, placed, encapsulated into one unit. This is a class which holds data, and the functions which operate the particular data are located in one section, one block, one area. This is concept called as a data encapsulation. Encapsulation, wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit, that is a class. So which purpose this particular data is used for function 1 and function 2. So that function 1 and function 2 are put together into one unit. Data, function 1 and function 2 are put together into one unit, that is a class. So here data cannot be visible to the outside the world. But how can we utilize the data? Through the functions. Who utilizes the data? Objects. Object 1 and object 2. Here. Object 1 and object 2. What is class and what is object? I will explain you very soon. Objects utilizes functions and objects work with functions. Function will utilizes the data. So what is the advantage using like this? Data cannot be visible to the outside world. So exclusively for function 1 and function 2 we assign data. So any object come into particular class, they utilizes this data for function 1, function 2 only. Okay, so data cannot be visible to the outside the world. It can be only used for function 1 and function 2. Who will call the function 1 and function 2? Object 1 and object 2. So data is concentrated and we provide the security, we hide the data and we utilize the data exclusively for particular purpose only. So coming to object-oriented programming, data cannot be misused. That's why concentrated on data rather than logic. Here data and function 1 and function 2. Data and functions which are operated on particular data are put into one unit, that is called as a data encapsulation. So objects will utilize the data through functions. They cannot use data directly. They cannot use data directly. Any object can use particular functions? No way. Objects of particular class can use only functions. For example, there is a college compound. Some water facilities is there in college compound. For which purpose? And we utilize the water for our college students only. No outsiders permitted to enter into our compound or campus. They are not permitted to utilize the water, mineral water. So that exclusively used for our students only. So students of particular class college can only use the particular water. So objects of particular class, objects which are recognized by particular class can utilize these data through functions. So this is a data hiding. Data cannot be visible like in structures. In structures data can be visible for any function can use the data. But coming to OOP, it cannot be visible to the outside the world. It is hidden. So how can we utilize data for outside the world? Indirectly through functions. Through functions. Who holds data and functions? Class. Okay. Who will utilize the data through functions? Objects. Which type of objects? The objects which are recognized by the class can only utilize the data. I think students, you understand whether security is provided to data or not? Yes, absolutely. Okay. So this is object 1 and object 2, which are of this class, utilize the data through functions. This is the basic introduction about OOP. Thank you.